It is now 6 p.m., so I will call the meeting to order. Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Deputy Mayor Winkler,
Here.
Councilmember Ballard,
Here.
Councilmember Elliott,
Here.
Councilmember Bassah,
Here.
Councilmember Walton,
Here.
Councilmember Gassick,
Here.
Councilmember Wargo.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we're up to the first public comment session. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items other than new business. We'll have a special public comment session for one new business item. Please remember to keep your comments to 3 minutes and remember that you are addressing the council. Is there anyone who has called in or is online?
No, there's not.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address us? We don't see anyone, so we'll move to the next item. All right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Councilmember Wargo.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for 9 September 2025.
Thank you. Councilmember Ballard.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Then we're up to appointments. The mayor has asked for approval for 2 appointments. Is there a motion to approve Spencer Lindsay to the Tree Advisory Commission? Councilmember Gassick.
I move that we appoint, what's the name, Steve?
Spencer Lindsay.
Spencer Lindsay. I apologize.
It's okay.
I apologize, Spencer, to the Tree Advisory Commission.
Thank you. Councilmember Elliott.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. So then we're moving on to the DuPont Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. Is there a motion to approve the appointment of Amy Walker to the DuPont Lodging Tax Advisory Committee? Councilmember Ballard.
Yes, I'd like to move to appoint Amy Walker to the LTAC committee.
Thank you. And Councilmember Walton.
I second that.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. We do have 3 proclamations tonight. We have time to read all 3, and all 3 are important, so we will read all 3. We're going to do it a little different, though. I am going to read the first one, and I asked our 2 senior council members to each read one of the others so that you don't have to listen to me the whole time, and we will go from there, all right? So the first proclamation is Constitution Week. Whereas September 17, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas the Constitution of the United States of America is the world's longest surviving written charter of government, making the United States of America the world's most enduring beacon of liberty, freedom, and democracy. And whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document, the oldest instrument of national government in the world, and the anniversary of its creation. And whereas celebrating the anniversary of the signing of the Constitution provides an opportunity for Americans to realize the achievements of the framers of the Constitution and the rights, privileges, and responsibilities it affords. And whereas, when our institution, we must also recognize the duties of citizenship. Whereas the citizens of DuPont celebrates and recognizes the hard working Americans who contribute daily to the strength of our nation, and recognizes the men and women who serve in our armed forces, especially those serving overseas and at Joint Base Lewis McChord, who are protecting and defending America. Now, therefore, I, Ronald J. Frederick, Mayor of the City of DuPont, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through September 23 in the year 2025 to be Constitution Week in the city of DuPont and encourage all citizens and organizations to celebrate the Constitution originally adopted by the American Congress of the Confederation on September 17, 1787, signed on the 9th day of September 2025. And now, Councilmember Elliott.
Whereas in 1968, Congress set aside a week to celebrate the Hispanic heritage and 2 decades later expanded it to a month stretching from September 15th to October 15th, as September 15th is the anniversary of the independence of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and for Mexico on September 16th, and for Chile on September 18th. And whereas the theme for 2025, Collective Heritage, Honoring the Past, Inspiring the Future, reflects the enduring legacy of resilience, leadership, and cultural vibrancy that Hispanic communities bring to every facet of our society. And whereas throughout history, Hispanic leaders have paved the way for social change, cultural enrichment, and progress in education, politics, arts, and activism, including Pope Francis, Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Selena Quintanilla, just to name a few. And whereas locally and nationally, countless Hispanic educators, entrepreneurs, and community organizers continue to inspire new generations to lead with pride and purpose. And whereas, according to the U.S. Census Bureau surveys, the Hispanic population of the United States as of July 1st, 2024, was 68 million, making it the nation's largest racial or ethnic minority, 20% of the total population, with Washington State being one of 15 states with 1 million or more Hispanic residents. Now, therefore, I, Ronald J. Frederick, Mayor of the City of DuPont, do hereby proclaim September 15th to October 15th to be National Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of DuPont and encourage all citizens to reflect on the past, celebrate the present, and build a future where the voices and contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans are recognized and valued. Signed on the 9th day of September 2025.
And Councilmember Ballard. See if I can.
Whereas September is National Suicide Prevention Month, a time to remember the lives lost to suicide, acknowledge the millions more who have experienced suicidal thoughts, and the many individuals, families, and communities that have been impacted by suicide. It's also a time to raise awareness about suicide prevention and share messages of hope. And whereas suicide is a serious public health problem that has long-lasting effects on individuals, families, and communities, and whereas we must educate ourselves and others about suicide prevention by learning the warning signs and risk factors for suicide, how to support someone considering suicide, committing to social change, and familiarizing ourselves with the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And whereas creating social change starts with the erosion of stigmas about seeking mental health treatment and the removal of barriers to access community resources, which is exceedingly important, with suicide being the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 14. The third leading cause of death among those aged 15 to 24, and the 12th leading cause of death overall in the United States. And whereas the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline implemented the 988 dialing code system in July 2022 to provide direct life-saving services to all in need. Simply call or text 988 if you or a loved one is experiencing mental health or suicide-related crisis. And whereas current reports from Veterans Affairs show that in 2022, there were 6,407 suicides among veterans and 41,484 among non-veteran U.S. adults, and the number of veteran suicides in 2022 was lower than 12 of the previous 14 years. And whereas resources are easy to find, especially on the internet, starting with www.samhsa.gov, the federal government's Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website, and www.doh.wa.gov, the Washington State Department of Health's website. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Ronald J. Frederick, Mayor of the City of DuPont, Washington, do hereby proclaim September 2025 as National Suicide Prevention Month in the City of DuPont and call all its observance to all residents. Signed on the 9th day of September 2025.
Thank you. We are up to approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Councilmember Gassick.
I move that we approve the consent agenda for Tuesday, September 9th.
Thank you. Councilmember Elliott,
I'll second that.
is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. We are already up to our new business item. What we will first have is the presentation by Director Oak Smith, followed by an opportunity for public comment. Before Director Oak Smith gives her presentation, I want to first congratulate her and her entire department for an absolutely excellent audit brief that happened yesterday. The audit happened earlier this month, and so thanks to your entire team. It's very fitting that we have you presenting to us tonight. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good evening, Council and Deputy Mayor and residents of DuPont. I have the first budget amendment in front of you for the year. It's a lot to do at once. Unfortunately, life got busy and work got busy, and so I'll present it tonight. There's a lot of information in here and I'll go over it. And when I'm done with this, I also have another document I'd like to show you that will be our projected ending fund balances for the year for each fund. Because what the budget amendment shows is that time, that place in time. And I had a few council members reach out and say, well, where do we look like we're going to end at the end of the year? So I have that presentation or that document to show you as well. And then tomorrow I will be sending out the August reports to council so they can see where we stand up until August. So we'll get those out to you tomorrow. First of all, this new business is the first budget amendment for the year. And what this does is it has miscellaneous items in it that are some housekeeping, some transfers, some grants, and so forth. And then there's a rule that makes this look confusing. The very first one always looks a little confusing because we take our projected ended beginning fund balances from the prior budget plus the revenues that we expect. And we have to do a transaction where we say, well, we thought it was going to be 5 million, but it really was 6. So we've got $1 million difference. You'll see this in here in Exhibit B, and I'll go over that. That's why there's on the revenue side, you'll see a lot of pluses or minuses. They're just what we thought we projected the beginning fund balance to be and what it actually was. So this one's a little bit different because it has those in it. So we'll go through those. So I think right in front of up there, I'm sorry, going along here because I forgot my glasses. This is the first reading of the budget amendment for the year. And so what we have in here on the revenue side, all funds have that transaction where it takes the estimated beginning fund balance and the real fund balance where we started at the beginning of the year. And that's in every fund, except I think 202. And then in the general fund, we have some grants. There are 5 grants that we'd like to recognize because we'd like to expend expenses against those grants. So we have the firefighter grant, the Nisqually grant, a Department of Labor and Industries grant, Pierce County Council grant, and the Middle Housing Department of Commerce grant. And those are ones we've received at this time. If we know we're going to get them, we usually don't put them on there until we've received them. The next item is to reduce the interest revenue from the 3 funds, 107, 150, and 501, because those actually need to be done as a transfer. And the way I put them in the budget was just to not have any revenue in there and put it straight into the general fund. I actually need to show the money coming into those funds and us transferring it out. So that's just kind of a correction to the budget. And then you'll see the next line down is to recognize the what we anticipate the interest income to be in those three funds. Fund 401 to recognize the revenue from the first PFAS settlement that we received. And for Fund 403, which is our stormwater fund, to recognize the flood control district grant that was awarded. Then we go down a little bit and we'll go talk about the expenditure side. And in the general fund, we had a few software programs that one's new and one we need to add to the budget. We need to add some appropriation or expenditure for fire department, recreation and events, and community development for those grants that I mentioned earlier. We needed to move a little bit of the budget from the mayor's budget to the executive budget for travel and professional dues. It's just moving it from one fund to the other. We have a cybersecurity audit happening right now, and we would like to use some money to pay for that, and that was approved through the mayor. And the money we are using is actually unanticipated money we received from the state that will cover that $6,000. So that was a nice, easy way to pay for that. We'd like to add appropriation for cleanup supplies, landscaping contract, legal expenses, and the printer lease in the general fund, and then reallocate the maintenance worker 1 position. This position we had allocated in the original budget, and when the director and I sat down with Keith Campbell, our city administrator, looked at where this person might be working, Director Kincaid thought that they'd be better suited in different funds, so you'll see a reallocation. Same amount of money coming in and out, just moved from different funds. Then we move down to the next page and we have the street fund. We've got new lights that were put in and some upgrades, so that's increased our rates a little bit, so we need to add for that. Hotel motel fund, we just need to do a little cleanup from where we estimated where the Part A grants would land internally and externally, and all I'm doing in that is moving them from external to internal. It's the same dollar amount, you'll see that. Those 3 funds, we'd like to do a transfer to the general fund for the interest. Capital projects fund, we did do the Chief Leshai Park. It was approved by you, but was not in the budget because we thought we would have it done the year before. So this is just taking the money from that fund that we thought we would have used in 2024 and use it in 2025. Water fund, which is Fund 401. We needed to add some capital improvement expenditures. The PFAS, or the granulated activated carbon treatment facility, wasn't done in 24. So we just need to take some more of the fund and pay for the finished product, which is up and running, as you know. And the capital project improvement for the Public Works building, we still have some bond revenue money, just a little bit, and we are spending that as the director sees needs for things in the building. For example, we needed to put in a new gas pump in the unleaded, I believe, and that's something we didn't anticipate, but we did have funds in there, so we'd like to use some of that money. Right now, it's about $140,000 left, so there isn't a lot. And then again, reallocate that maintenance worker 1 position. Moving down to the stormwater fund, add the expenses for the grant we received. We need to do our catch basin cleaning, which is required, and it's time to do that. It didn't get put in the budget. I believe we thought it was going to be the next year, but it needs to be this year. And reallocate that position, and then add the stormwater specialist that you approved, which adds 1 FTE to the budget. This is a new position. We've had it before, but we didn't have it, so we've talked about it before, but this adds the actual FTE and puts part of their salary, the rest that we would have for this year. The position is out for people to apply, and so this helps us fund it, and that is Fund 403. The next Fund 501 is we needed to add some appropriation for the fire department for an unanticipated purchase in the budget, and then at the bottom, the general fund, street fund, water fund, and stormwater fund, we'd like to unfund the engineering tech position, which reduces 1 FTE out of the budget, and replace it with the city engineer, which adds 1 FTE. It's a wash of FTEs, but there is a financial difference, and that is in here as well. So if we go down, we can go back past the ordinance, and we can look at Exhibit A. I know it is a little hard to see. But this just shows you the very first, where it says current budget under revenue, that is our end of what we thought that 2024's ending fund balance or 2025's beginning fund balance would be plus anticipated revenues. Then we take the adjustments, which you'll see are on Exhibit B, and then we make a revised budget. Go to the expenditure side. Here's our current budget, which is in the 2025 budget that you approved in November of last year. Put in the adjustments, which are expenditures, to show the new revised expenditures for the general fund. So then you look to the far right, you have the ending fund balance at 1.3. That's a step in time. And that's how this budget amendment works. Then we can go through the rest. I don't want to bore you with my just talking about it, but you can look at it and you can see to the, all the roll up of what will go under over next, and the ending fund balance is off to the right, bringing us to, let's see, a beginning fund balance and revenue of 37 million to an ending fund balance of 14 million. So we started at about 16 million, and right now our projections as this moment in time would be 14. And we'll go over where we think we're going to stand after this. So if you go down to the next exhibit, Exhibit B, this is the detail of what I went over. On the right-hand side is the revenues. So you'll see general fund and each fund below that. Where it says beginning fund balance, if there's a plus or a minus, those are the differences that I talked about. And then each item that I discussed is in there listed. There's the grants, removing the interest and re-adding the interest for the general fund and so forth. And then if you look on the right-hand side, the expenditures, there's the software for the general fund, expenditures for the grants, some appropriation for legal services that we were using external legal services to help with some of our union meetings, some new software, and that appropriation for the maintenance worker one, reallocating that position. And if we go to the next page, it's the same type of information. Street fund on the right, depreciation fund. The difference in the fund balances, if you look at, for example, Fund 104, you see a negative. That means that we actually had more than we thought we were going to have at the end of the year. And then we keep going. There's another whole page. It's a lot of detail. Again, beginning fund balances on the right with the differences. The revenues are on the right. If there are any differences, like, for example, Fund 401, you'll see the PFAS settlement, that $552,000 we got. That's in here. We did just receive another settlement. I don't know if you've had, I don't remember if we've had time to notify you, but more money has come in, and that will be on the next budget amendment. We'll go down, and that is it for this document. So if you'd like to pause any questions, I'd like to show the other document for a moment, and then I can open it up for any questions you might have or clarification on this budget amendment. Okay.
Let's do the other document. Thank you.
Yeah, it's projected fund balances. Takes a second for it to come up. So this document looks similar to what you just saw. It's a few less columns, and it's similar to what I send you out in your monthly reports. And what it shows you is the first column will have the funds, and then the revenue column, which will say, for example, general fund, that $14 million, I'm rounding. You'll show your actual beginning balance, unlike the beginning fund, budget amendment where it had an estimated. This is your actual fund balance plus what the revenue we thought we would receive this year. That's what's in the budget. If we receive more revenue or less, that's not reflected in here because we're not at the year end. So right now, this is just what we estimate the year end to be. And when you get August reports, you'll actually get how we stand in August. The revised budget is the next column over, and what that is what I just showed you with the budget amendment. If you pass that budget amendment, that's our new allocation of revenues. When you move over to the next, you'll see the expenditures, our current budget, which was passed last year for 2025, and then the revised, which has the new expenditures, yielding us an estimated projected year-end balance of 1.6 or almost 1.7. Again, that's fluid. It can change tomorrow if we get extra money in or we have an unanticipated expense. Usually if it's unanticipated, comes to you in a budget amendment. As we receive grants or any other additional revenue, we bring forth into a budget amendment. Sometimes we receive money and it doesn't go in a budget amendment, but I try my best to make sure it gets in there. If it's a few dollars, you probably don't want to know that. You want to know the big stuff. So that's where we stand with the general fund. And as you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the other funds. And these, again, are projections. Some don't have any expenditures in them and some do. Depends on what they're used for. The next two down, revenue stabilization and contingency reserve, are our reserve funds that we're trying to increase as we go. Then we have our special revenue funds, street operating, street depreciation, and the hotel motel tax. And you can see our anticipated ending fund balances to the far right. Equipment replacement and repair fund, that's Fund 501. And many of you know that fund is fully supported by the general fund. We take each department, we look at their assets, what we need to save for vehicles, equipment, computers, bigger items, and we take each month from each department and put it in this fund. So this fund is fully supported by the general fund. And that is one of the reasons, and it's not restricted, that we'd like to use the revenue, interest revenue that we make to support the general fund, because the money in that fund comes strictly from there. Moving forward, a little bit further down, you'll see the special revenue funds. These are some of the smaller funds. The Northwest Glacier Fund isn't that small, but some of the smaller funds. The Debt Service Fund, which is Fund 202, which pays the, what I would call the mortgage, but it's our bonds for this building and the public safety building. Capital Projects Fund, a lot of the things that come out of there are the bigger projects. That's where all the real estate excise tax money is received and goes into. Actually had a home sale last month in DuPont at $1 million, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was actually a business, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh. Anyway, moving forward, Transportation Benefit Fund, enterprise funds are the water and stormwater funds, and there's where we stand at this moment in time. We think our projections would yield us an overall fund balance of almost $15 million at the end of the year for all those funds. And it doesn't include revenue we just received. We received some money from some permitting and so forth that is not in here, that you'll see in the August reports. And a lot of it's one-time money. Portion of it was in the budget, and a portion of it wasn't, because we were very conservative about what we put in there so that we didn't anticipate things. We want to anticipate things we think are going to happen, but when they don't, it's disappointing and it makes the budget not look good. So a portion was put in, and we've already exceeded what we put in the budget for those projects, those development projects. So that's good news. And with that, I will do my best to answer any questions you have.
Councilmember Elliott, and we will do public comment right after this first round of questions. Go ahead.
Well, actually, I don't have a question. I just have a comment because, and my comment is that I asked you a bunch of questions when we got this, and so you answered all of them, and I really appreciate that. And I have greater understanding now, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking those. It helps me know that if you have that question and others have questions, I can bring forth so that the public knows and that everyone gets the same information. Thank you.
I think to make sure we get our public comment opportunity in here, we'll do that, and I'll open it up for more comments or questions from the council. So for the public, this is an opportunity for you to comment on the budget amendment. Please remember to keep your comments to 3 minutes that you are addressing the council. Is there anyone who has called in or online?
No, there's not. No,
Okay.
there's not.
And there is nobody in the audience, so we will talk. I'm going to ask council members if there's any others. Okay, if there are none, I'd just like to share a couple. First, thanks for a study session at our last meeting. I think that was really helpful. We spent a good discussion on this and asked a lot of questions. You got the answers back. I think that study session was really fruitful, and it's one of the reasons why we can move through this really quite quickly. I want the people out there to realize that collectively between the staff and the council, we do take this very serious and we spent a lot of time on it. We're really excited to see the interest revenue. That's something I know that Mr. Campbell brought forward as an idea, seeing that growth going in there in all different categories, and we're learning how to move that in correctly, following all the audit procedures. As I shared earlier, the audit report was very good, and I think it's important for the public to know that the audit report was very good, that their money is being well spent. And the last thing, I want to thank you for the update on that slide. That's just part of that process. I think that information on that last one is very helpful for us to have an idea. So thanks for all of that. I will share at this point, this is a first reading to Section 2 of Ordinance Number 24-1152. We can either move it to a second reading tonight, or we can do the second reading at our next meeting. It's up to the council. Councilmember Gassick.
Make a motion that we move the ordinance regarding the first budget amendment for 2025 to second reading.
Can you mic her in, please?
I will.
Oh, you want me to say it again?
That's my mistake.
Okay.
Okay.
I move that we take the ordinance regarding the first budget amendment for the year 2025 and move it to second reading.
All right. Is there a second? Councilmember Basal.
I second the motion.
All right. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none. It has been moved to the second reading. Is there a motion at this time to pass the budget amendment? Councilmember Elliott.
I'll make a motion to pass the budget amendment adjustment 2025.
Thank you. Councilmember Wargo.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none. The budget amendment passes. Thank you for your good work.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
All right. So now we're up to comments. I'll go first. I want to do a quick reminder that the fall market is this Saturday, September 14th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the clock.
Is that Sunday?
We're going to look. It's the 14th.
Yeah.
Sunday, the 14th. Thank you for correcting me.
You
Okay.
know why? I don't want the competition, so.
Okay. Okay.
It's Saturday.
No, it's Sunday. It's a great market. Please, please consider attending and taking in one last event down there. I want to also share that there are many activities going on throughout the city. And if you haven't already signed up for the weekly Bits and Bytes, I'm asked, how do you know about all these activities? It's really the weekly Bits and Bytes, and staff puts a lot of work in there. You can find many other things going on. You can sign up for the weekly newsletter. It's really the city newsletter that comes out. If you don't know how to sign up, go to the homepage, go to Quick Links, or call City Hall, and they will assist. But there's many other things going on besides the fall market. And with that shared, is there any other council members with comments? Councilmember Walton.
Yes, I just wanted to give a shout out to DuPont and Steilacoom High School's very own Emeka Obuka, who, as many of us know, has a relative not here tonight. But, following this young man for quite some time, it really needs to be noted that he scored 2 touchdowns in his first NFL game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The second one was the winning one. And way beyond that, I just have to my personal reflection, what people do on the field as athletes is pretty spectacular, but it's the quality of their character off the field that I think is even more spectacular. And it's just really fabulous to know that this young man was a product of our community, continues to be invested here. And just a shout out to him for showing young people how to be a good leader. It should happen more. So thank you, Emeka.
All right. Is there any other council members? Before I turn it over to for our city administrator, I want to make sure my correction is on the record. Sunday, September 14th, fall market. Please attend. Mr. Campbell.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I guess I will echo your bits and bytes. Kudos to Carrie and Marcy sitting next to me who put that together. In fact, I'm using it tonight for my 2 comments. So it's that time of the year again. It's the DuPont Parks and Rec Annual Virtual Auction beginning October 8th through 12th. Tickets are on sale right now with options starting at $10 and bidding access for $60 for bidding plus dinner, desserts, and local restaurants. All proceeds support youth, adult, and senior programs in our community, and they are still taking donations. Amy Walker is who you need to reach out to with any details, questions, comments, concerns, and her information can be found on our website or on the Bits and Bytes post. And then this Friday, September 12th, from 3 to 6 at Clock Tower Park is a public safety fair. So invite everyone to attend. Police and fire will be on hand. Should be a wonderful event. Weather looks like it's going to be cool and wonderful to be outside. So I hope everyone can be there. And with that, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Campbell? Seeing no questions,